Now we've seen that there are different ways that you can make the blind or the visually impaired child to learn at the same level as other children that are sighted. So as long as you are very resourceful and you are able to make the materials and the resources available, you are going to make sure that the blind or visually impaired children, they learn at the same level as the sighted ones. Now here are some of the materials that you can use and some of the methods that you can use. For example, you are talking about social science, and then there's different materials of making clothes. What are the different materials of making clothes? We have got things like wool, silk, leather, and the like. So you make these things and you cut actually the leather, and then you stick it on a chart, and then you braille it using a braille, so that even the blind child can come and say, material for clothes, and then this is a dress, it is made of leather. So the child is feeling and is actually reading. So if the chart is on the wall, the child can actually revise, which is actually the same level as the sighted. This is silk, and then you are doing the same again. You write there using braille. As you see, this is braille, and then this is a dress that is nicely done. It is made of silk. So when you do that, this one is made of cotton. This is just a sample and an example. So there are many other materials that you can make. If you are teaching about proteins, for example, or different nutritions, now you look at different food nutrients rather, you find that these are vitamins. So you can actually maybe cut a carrot and put it there, and you braille it and say vitamins, and then you write, and then for other things you can also do the same. Now, as you realize that there are things like mathematics where you have to teach time, you must think outside the box. Now this is time, you are teaching time, so braille these things like write 12, 1, 2, 3 in braille, and then you do these things here, and then you put them here. So, and this pointer is pointing at 6. So the blind child, if you ask the blind child, what time is it? The blind child can actually feel, and I just need so, excuse me for that. Now, the blind child can actually feel that this is 3:30. So the blind child can actually feel that this is 6, this is 5, this is 4, this is 3, and actually these clock faces for the blind and for the sighted, they are learning at par or at the same level. So this actually applies to different things, even when you're talking about shapes. These are different shapes. So this is oval, this is a cycling, this is diamond, and then this is a pentagon, this one is a triangle. So they touch these materials as they learn along. Now, you can use different materials, like even there is a projector. This is one is for the ones that are not, that don't see properly. So you put it here, and then the best way to do is to make sure that the child reads on his own. Let him adjust to the level that he understands. So give the child, teach him how to use this, and let him adjust as he sees fit. Because if you do it for that child, the child may not actually be seeing at the best level of how he should be using that materials there. So now we have got different materials, different approaches, braille, projectors, and then all these things. So now what I would like you to do now is to discuss, tell me the effectiveness. Now what I've demonstrated before, how effective is it? How effective do you think these things that I've highlighted are? Are they some negative effects of using such things? Are they disadvantages of coming up with these materials? Are they positives? Are they negatives? I want both the negative and the positives. So we can have a brief discussion there of the effectiveness. I want to see what impact do you think these ones can have. So we can have some brief of discussions and just note out some points, and then we'll discuss some of these things. Do you think these things can really work? Do you think they are positive? Do you think they are negative that actually come out of it as well? So we can have that discussion as well. How effective are those methods? Discuss the effectiveness of using these things in trying to make this thing work, because we are concerned about the visually impaired child. We believe in inclusive education, whereby we have to include.
It takes time to apply to those things. And sometimes it's hard to find the material. Expensive to get the material, but else.
Advantages, right, of using these methodologies. One advantage is the field methodology. People.
Learning opportunity, yes, for the blind. I'm not copying it.
It's a learning opportunity to
Understand.
it actually develop their
Yes,
yeah, it's an advantage of feeling, sense of feeling.
Are you okay?
Yeah,
Are you having challenges?
yeah, I'm trying.
You are doing well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Only for an advantage of this.
Advantage, disadvantages.
Does it take time and then I will
Those that are done, you can just show me by raising up your hand so that I don't keep you waiting for a long time.
I said,
So-
enables them to feel the real world. I mean, they can't see.
As you discuss, you can just hold some of these things and discuss about it. Any advantages or any disadvantage of that, and then you can. Okay. Group 1 is done.
Right, okay. And you can also give the feedback.
Now just discuss anything that's anything. Just want as many points as possible. Then we're going to scrutinize the points.
Right. This one. Right, yeah, we're done.
Okay. So, can I hear the points? Who do you start with? You say honor ladies. Yes, honor ladies. Actually, it's Women's Month now.
Yeah.
So the women, we honor them this month. Yes, you can.
Okay. Advantages that I have, they get to feel the materials, like feel whatever is there. For example, with the time, they get to feel like if it says it's 3:30, they can actually feel it's 3:30. Like they use their hands to do that. And then another advantage that I have is they develop a sense of feeling like in their hands.
Okay,
Yeah. And then disadvantages, it takes time to do these things because really, if you check that soup dress that is there on the board, someone they took time to actually like to make that thing.
Time consuming. Okay.
On the negatives, when you age, there can be a lack of availability of the material.
Okay, for example, if you are saying lack of availability, can you expand on that?
For example, leather. Not each and every person has leather, like to cut out and then make the kids to feel it. Do you understand? And it can be expensive to actually get that leather and then bring it here.
Okay, so some of the materials cannot be easily available. So availability,
Availability of materials.
lack of availability. Yes.
Yeah, those are the advantages and these negative things that I had about this. And these ones as well, they can be expensive and not easy to get.
Yeah, they are not easy to get. You must be resourceful. You must liaise sometimes with associations like Blind SA, and you ask some of these materials and say, we've got blind children at our school. What can you offer us? So you have to even counsel for the blind. So you have to run around. You have to have the passion. Actually, it means that you have to have passion for this thing. Otherwise, without passion, you are not going to go around, run around. So it means somebody must have that zeal of actually going around looking for those materials. Can we hear the men now?
Right. One advantage which we have, we won't repeat those ones which have been said by Honor ladies. Right, it caters for various senses. Right? It caters for various senses in learning. Then the disadvantage which we have here, at times, if we have things like this, as a disadvantage is artificial. Children may have this picture, yes, of these animals, but the real animal, they have the concept that a crocodile is like this, the actual size.
Small.
Yes, it's very small. So it's artificial at times. That's one disadvantage. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Artificial. Okay. So all those things now. So we realize that in life, actually, almost everything has got advantages and disadvantages. There is a good side and the challenges that always come up with these things. But we can always do something to make sure that we can make differences in the lives of the blind or even or those that have got low vision. So there are different things that we can come up with. You can come up with, like, for the mind you, are not only talking about the blind, we're talking about the ones that have got low vision. You can ensure that they get some specs from doctors, but the specs must always be recommended by the doctor. You can't say there are nice gases that I saw, I think I see better when I'm using them. But they must have the recommendation. Why? Because people's visual impairment, it differs from one person to another, and it needs different types of gases for each and every person. So sometimes some people can just take it for granted, maybe because of ignorance. But these things need to be need some verification. You need to verify and consult with the necessary personnel on how best you can help your blind or visually impaired child. So are there any questions, additions, subtractions, and the likes in terms of making this thing effective for the blind child?
I'd like to add on the senses of smell. It would be actually helpful to actually let them like have like something of to sense on a smell. Do you get what I'm saying? Like maybe when you're talking about cabbage, let them know how cabbage smells like. Let them know how onion smells like. Let them know how pumpkin smells like.
That's very, very true. I think that's what the men were saying, that the various senses are used today in the process, and then they should be used in their best level possible. So a sense of smell is very key, because the blind child does not see or does not know actually how the item, he relies on other senses, and he relies on how best you explain something to him. So even the way you explain, you must make sure that it is as clear as possible, because they are actually relying on your explanation to understand what you are talking about. Okay. Did you benefit anything? I would like you in your next session to come up with your own. Now, I was demonstrating my own things come up with your own things, and then you say, I can do this. Try to be resourceful. I know you say that sometimes it's expensive, sometimes it takes a lot of time to run around, but I want to see how resourceful you are and come up with your own interesting ways of making things possible for the blind child to actually learn. Thank you so much.